world of marketing. Business was hard. I could use the lights. I really need them. Really
Oh, you need them? Okay. Just kidding.
Otherwise, I won't get the punchline or read the rest of my notes. So the business was hard, and the product guy told the marketer, he said, you know, there's a conference coming next week. You really need to attend so we can maybe figure this out. This isn't working. So the marketer agreed and attended the conference, and while at the conference, one of the speakers seemed to know a lot about their specific problem, and so he went to him afterwards. And he asked him, he said, what he could do to maybe get the business up and going. And the marketer said, well, and once he heard the business details, he said, okay, I think I understand. I know how to help you, but since your product guy probably needs to spend his time focusing on the product, you're probably going to need to take over all the marketing activities. Okay, so here's what you do. If you blog about 1,000 words a day against highly segmented key terms, A/B test all your headlines, set up keyword targeted domains, and launch tangential areas that drive traffic to the top of your funnel, build well-designed marketing pages with clear calls to action, which must be A/B tested as well. Spend about 3 solid months link building and creating a personable brand around specific problem sets while recording YouTube videos addressing specific customer desires, and set up a carefully curated email list so you can deliver timely messages about your problem space to your customers. Then you set up a Twitter account and interact with about 100 carefully targeted web brands a week against specific search terms. And if you craft a great personal experience of your product and avoid common pitfalls like mobile-first experiences, and treat all your customers free or paid like kings. And then start a PR campaign by cozying up to bloggers and journalists, and spend your nights and weekends writing copy and preparing embargoed PR releases. Then, I'm very positive that you'll probably develop enough traction to become profitable in about 12 to 18 months. So the marketer returned home to meet with his business partner, at which point the product guy asked, so what did they tell you at the conference? Marketing guy gave a sigh. He said, he put his hand on his friend's shoulder, and with a sympathetic look he said, well, they told us we're not going to make it. My name is Barry Welch. I work for 360 Ideas. I'm a developer. Some of this stuff probably seems as daunting to you as that list is. By the way, that list is gold. You may or may not know. It's for sale, $500, Productized Consulting, if you want it. So I think this is a solid preface. I'm probably just going to read off of this. That's my presentation style. I just read it. I'm probably just going to read from here. And so I think this, what I've just told you, is kind of a solid preface for what I'm getting ready to tell you. But first things first. Let's get some biases out of the way here. I missed that slide. Look at that. Email marketing probably doesn't seem like, that's me, that's my wife actually. Email marketing probably doesn't seem like the prettiest girl at the party to you. I'm pretty happy actually to be in the spot though, giving this talk, because if you heed what I tell you, and some of you are already doing this, what I'm about to tell you, it's possible that I can create a greater impact for you over a longer period than any other topic that you will hear today. But, required warning, your mileage may vary. Okay? Email marketing done right is a thing of beauty. But getting started, it's pretty hard. I'm going to scare you a bit today, and that's okay, you'll be fine. I'll throw in some spoonfuls of sugar to help the medicine go down, okay? Okay, so let's back up. Oops, my bad. My things got out of order. Did they? Okay, well I'm missing a slide. It's okay, we'll just jump right in. Email marketing probably doesn't seem, I already did that. It's pretty easy to do eye-barrel rolls over this topic. Really wish I had this slide here. You probably tried email marketing at one time or another, or at least considered it, and it didn't do much for you. We're kind of starting off on the wrong foot from that perspective. You did it, it didn't work. You probably have developed a stack of reasons why not to do this, and all the reasons you would have seen are pretty much true, reasons why you shouldn't, but they're only half true. Let's see. Let's jump in. Yeah, even for the scorned email marketing lovers here, there's another side of this coin. By the way, some sage advice my father gave me when growing up. He said, number one, never be a marriage counselor. Number two, if you're going to be a marriage counselor, you have no choice. You have to be one. Then you always listen to both sides. So there are two sides of this. So if you had a bad experience, listen to the other side. There's a lot of people having a great experience with this. So there's a problem with hating email marketing. If you come from a background of I tried it and it didn't work, and you pretty much said, we're not going to do that anymore. Your boss isn't willing to invest the time anymore. There's a lot of great examples of people making it work. The conversion rates are nuts if you get this right. The ROI is nuts. And your customers, they actually want you to tell them stuff. You think most people actually hate getting email. but a lot of your customers actually want to hear from you on a periodic basis. They want you to teach them how to do stuff, okay, if that's your business, or they want to hear about your deals or specials, okay? You want fanatical customers. And it turns out a well-curated email list per call to action, per user, you cannot beat it on a conversion rate basis. Per user, per call to action, you will not beat email on an engagement basis. Because your existing audience, which is what an email list is, they bought from you, it's easier to sell to an existing audience. So, before I go to the next slide, I will forgive you for doubting what I've said so far. It's okay. You're well served by skepticism most of the time. But don't take my word for it. I've got a few quotes here before I go to the next slide. A quote from a random forum on the internet that I frequent. Here we go. After working many years in email marketing, let me tell you what I've learned. At the end of the day, email marketing remains the #1 method for user acquisition and retention. Here's some more. Opt-in email marketing provides the highest ROI and conversion rate of any online marketing method. Twitter and Facebook may be cool, but the guys sending emails to their lists control the message and are the ones making the big bucks. Very popular and famous guy who you should probably follow, Patrick McKenzie, said, I sell about $100 worth of software for every 10 people I can convince to click on the email link. That number astounds me. I hope to do more with that next year. More people say, I'm getting nearly the same numbers that you're getting for paid signups. I'm glad I'm not the only one surprised at how effective this is. So this is actually kind of lit up in the e-commerce space in the last 2 years. And to give an example of this, Custora. Oops, my bad. Wow, these things are so out of order. Let me back up. Basically, to kind of wrap up the whole bias thing, if you believe that email is old hat, it's because you probably think like the hipster guy, maybe. Email was converting customers long before anybody built a social network. It sat in coffee shops scoffing at trendiness and moved to the next level by everyone's scrounged as it's left. So you tried it, it didn't work, but there are a lot of people that are making that work. Okay, let's move to Custora. Sorry about the order here, and I'm sorry about the jerky presentation here. Let's analyze some data. There's another quote I actually want to throw in here because it's a paraphrase from my boss. Build an email list, buy a jet. Okay, so let's look at this data from Custora. If you look at the graph on the right, it's really the only graph I'm going to show you today. On a percentage basis, if you look at the email line, you'll see about a 777% increase over the course of 4 years because a lot of focus is going into email marketing and curating lists. Okay? So as a percentage change, it's impressive by itself. There's even a bigger changes on this graph, right? If you looked at Facebook was hardly even a thing back then. It's 70%, right? By that definition. But if you consider that the biggest percent of conversions don't include social media, I mean, it's a fraction of time. You'll start to look at that more like a penny stock compared to email. It's interesting and risky, but not really a good place to dump a ton of money right now. Where's a good place to dump a bunch of money? Well, these guys seem to think, e-commerce companies seem to think these high-value places like CPC and organic search, referrals, and email are a great place to put your money. And of these top consistent performers, those four, the recent trends put email at the top of the movers and shakers. But what the heck, you say? That doesn't seem right. I tried this, it didn't work. Probably because you didn't spend any real time working on it. If you do this stuff, you study it, you measure it, you improve it, you treat it like your full-time job until you get it down pat. It works. If it doesn't work for you, it's because you're probably not doing the right thing. Email marketing is not an e-bomb, an e-blast, or spam. It's about targeting a tight niche with a well-timed message. It's a two-way value proposition, meaning that you get permission to talk to them about your product while they get knowledge. Email marketing is this list. It's a highly qualified audience, a highly segmented message. It's very concerned with the customer is in the life cycle of their interaction with your brand, right? The first time you interact with a client, it's probably not drop them in the middle of a kind of a monthly sale deal. It's probably welcome aboard. It's get them oriented in what they're going to receive over the coming months, right? When some people create drip or lifecycle email campaigns, they start with a welcome, they kind of have warm-up emails, and then they drop them into their kind of their meat of their message. It's interested in a two-way ongoing value proposition. It's not about, here's my message, take my deals, do this, do that. It's about teaching. And email marketing is, quality email marketing that works, is multi-armed, banded, tested to the hilt. What I mean by that is, when you heard the term A/B tested, it means that when you send out emails to 1,000 people, you don't just send the same headline. You try several different headlines, and you measure which headlines work. New email marketing is using spaced repetition. You're sending yours in kind of a, whenever I kind of feel like it, or someone should send an email, we haven't sent one for a while, kind of basis that doesn't really work. Because the email lists get cold. You use repetition methods like teach, sell. You don't sell, you teach them something, give them something else of value, and then you try to sell them. Surprisingly, this is what gets some people. You deliver the highest value information up front, and then you sell the implementation details. If you basically try to kind of hide the good information while you're trying to talk to these people, then they probably won't value what you have. But if you give them the good stuff, and then we'll say, we'll show you how to fill in the gaps afterwards, that changes things. It changes the interaction. It makes you much more, stand out much more than your competition in that way. New email marketing is integrating video. It's changing the effectiveness of conversion rates by up to 40%. I saw in one statistic, just one random statistic. Email marketing is about asking for the sale. You can't just teach all the time. You can't just say, if it's a drip email campaign, you're a real estate agent, you have a drip email campaign, and you say, you're getting your house ready for sale and all those things, that's nice. But if it's just informative, it never sells anything, then you're missing an opportunity. So, to boil it down, you have to treat your email marketing as an effort to build an audience where you are the experts, they are the students. Matter of fact, this was the idea of building a web page back in the day, wasn't it? You set up some content, you show your expertise, and they come back to you. This was exactly what you should have done, and some of you did it. Some of you were very successful with it. But then, the web grew, and now literally tens of thousands of people are doing the same thing as you are. And you have to capture the interest and stop that fickleness cycle of customers coming and bailing and never seeing you again. How do you do this? Well, when they visit your website, it's very simple. When they visit your website, you ask them nicely for their email. You give them something in exchange for it, maybe a PDF ebook on how to do the top 10 things that you should know about X. And then you send them good stuff on an intermittent basis. That's it. Suddenly, a single visit has turned into a multi-month teaching engagement and an opportunity to sell. To quote 37 Signals Spirit, more or less, you cannot outspend your competition in the long run. It will kill you. You can quickly shift to out-teaching your competition. It will kill them. But, I'm sorry to use the whiny voice, I'm already doing this with social media. Sorry. That's good, it really is. You should be doing this, you totally should. Julie's getting ready to talk about that subject, Julie. You should totally be doing this as part of a balanced breakfast, okay? It's very useful engaging people with your brand if you're willing to spend time being genuine. If you're just blasting whatever you want at the top of your head out there without engaging with your users, it's not very effective. And it's a bad neighborhood for conducting business. Sorry again, Julie. There's certain types of interaction for which this is a bad neighborhood. Okay? You are surrounded, I will read this because you probably can't see it, it's hilarious. My teacher is so dumb, he thought the sun was a star. That's because it is. No, it's not. The sun is a sun and the star is a star. Okay. It's not just a lack of buying intent. It's that your message is surrounded by a flurry of people who are at their absolute worst. Whereas in your email inbox, if you can imagine your Gmail or whatever you use, Outlook, the occasional dollop of advice that you give to your customers is surrounded by things like their wife asking them to pick up groceries and new business opportunities that they're chasing. Right between those things, right? which more likely are they going to engage with? Probably in the inbox. In fact, they gave you permission to send them those messages, didn't they, to begin with? Then again, I really don't like this stuff. It's hard. It's hard to get it right. So don't get me wrong. And you know what? Too many people are doing this wrong. And that's actually why there's a huge opportunity here. That's why if you actually listen to this and you're like, I should really take this seriously, this may actually be a game changer for you in one way or another. And to kind of put an exclamation point on that, I attended a conference in May. I would say it's probably the market leaders in the bootstrapping space. And if you don't know what that means, there's software businesses that are trying to get off the ground. These people basically are the top leaders in that space. Weird sounding names called Bacon BizConf. Brandon was there too. And what we saw at Floridas, the very people, the key experts in our industry were mea culpa all over themselves because they weren't doing this right. Plenty of examples from experts getting it wrong. No wonder. It's hard. But the light is worth the candle. So, an invitation. So we're close to the end here, and I want to open an invitation for you. We're running an experiment out of our own product at 360 Ideas. We want to prove to you that it works. The product that we're working with is called QuoteWrite. It's a product that we've had for about a year and a half maybe. Yeah, not quite that long, a year now. And it helps people create beautiful estimates. It does a lot of cool things, actually. But in the early days, the product was really rough. And during that time, we saw about 2,000 people sign up for it. And very few of them actually converted to full-time paying customers. But we got their emails, and we have an opportunity here to test drive a new technique. And we want to basically try to convert this cold list of people who haven't been emailed since for a year into a certain percentage of them, hopefully, into paying customers over time. And we want you to have a front row seat. As a matter of fact, I mean, we've got our work cut out for us because we don't even know how many of these people signed up and what their reasons were for installing the software in the first place. So, but we do have an idea. We have 3 tracks that we're going to talk to. We're going to split them into 3 groups. We have a fear track, a price track, and a social proof track. The fear track basically concerns itself when you're missing out on business. The price track says, well, the first time you saw us, we were really expensive. We're different now. The third track is, but everybody else says we're cool. So these 3 messages are lifecycle drip email campaigns that will send to about 650 people each. What we hope to find out is whether the issue was price, a lack of urgency, or whether it was a lack of trust. The invitation is this. We would like to share the results with you. And yes, this is an opportunity for us to teach you through email. We don't want to just tell you how effective this is. We want to show you. So we want you to have a front row seat, and we want your email. We want your permission to teach you and occasionally sell you something you probably need. If you'd like us to share this with you, please email me today, Barry@360ideas. You can unsubscribe anytime. I promise not to spam if you unsubscribe. Okay, I'll stop there. We have 3 follow-up classes. We're going to do a deep dive on some of these things. I just glossed over some really powerful things that you may not even know. So we're going to talk about how to incentivize email collection so people land on your page. How do you get them to actually give them your email address? How do you segment your email audience to deliver the right message at the right time? How do you set up that lifecycle campaign so that you onboard people and then you put them into the meat of your message? If you want a good resource on these particular topics, or at least an idea to kind of get you started, understanding connecting with audience on a permission marketing basis. If you haven't already read the Seth Godin book, please get the Seth Godin permission marketing book. Read and understand it. Those of you who are really good at this already, be improved by seeing that. In summary, I have no summary screen. Build your list. Warm up your cold lists. Curate it to a fault. Take the people out that aren't qualified to be in it. Segment. Teach. Pay attention to where the customer is at in the process of interacting with your brand. And send me an email so I can show you how we can do this for your business. And attend our next presentations on this topic. Thank you. And up next we have Julie. on social. And I threw enough barbs in there, you got your work cut out for you. Good luck.
Don't be messing with Facebook.